How's it going, guys and gals? My name is Sergeant Beckett and welcome back to yet another Sergeant Beckett Reacts video. And today, we're going back, not to Jubilee, but to more reactionception today, with another Tyler Rumple video. Today, I don't know how, so there's a if you're seeing this video, then that means, I thought this video was good. I don't know how this is gonna go. This is what I'm reacting to is a topic that I've heard being complained about before, or talked about before. And it's a thing that I saw the thumbnail for. I saw this video and I thought that could be a good video, but it could not be a good video. I did looked at it a little bit and I thought I still don't know. So I'm gonna watch it, and if you're seeing this, that means I either felt like I had enough to say, or I just enjoyed it not enough to upload it. Either way, that's the state of things. To actually say what we're reacting to today, if you haven't yet guessed, today we are reacting to a video by Tyler Rumple called American Reacts to British Plugs. I have no thought on the matter. I'm not an electrician, so I don't have any info on whether one's better than the other or not. Yeah, I really do not know how this is gonna go. So I'm just gonna stop rambling. That's what's gonna end up happening in a second. I'm just gonna watch this. So let's fucking go.
What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and learn about British plugs. Now, I know that British plugs are different than our American plugs. But according to this video here, British plugs are better as well. They're better. And you know, us Americans, we don't like to admit when we're not the best at something, but I'm going to go into this with an open mind. I'm actually very curious about what makes a British plug different and apparently better. You know, why don't we have this technology here? I don't know. Let's take a look.
British AC plugs and sockets are very different from a lot of the other plugs and socket sets around the world, and they're super different than what we're used to here in North America.
Yes.
In fact, holding these two next to each other, these British ones seem absolutely mammoth.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to point out. The British plugs are gigantic. They're huge. Why? What kind of crazy electronics do you have out there in Britain that you need this much, like, power? Do they let more power go through? Or I have no idea. Let's see.
But I'm going to cover 10 reasons why I think this plug and this socket may just be the best design set in the entire world.
Wow, not just like compared to North America or the United States. The British plug may be the best in the world. Okay, that's quite a claim. Let's see if you can back that up.
As well as a handful of reasons why I think they might not be.
Oh,
feature number 10 on our list is this longer ground pin.
Oh my.
Now, long ground pins are actually super common. We see them in our US plugs and in other plugs all over the world.
Right.
But this is quite different, actually. It serves a purpose in an overall safety system on these types of plugs. By the way, these are called Type G, and the Type G here has this longer pin because...
Oh, a Type G, that's the name of the plug. That's actually good to know. It has a name. Type
I never
G.
knew that, actually.
What the heck?
I thought literally the only way they were differentiated was by British plug, American plug, European plug. I didn't know they actually had names, but that is actually kind of interesting.
Is the American one called Type USA or no?
I don't want to be a dick here or anything, because I'm not like that. But if you were looking at the video, or if any of you are looking at the video and you were confused as to what the American one was, let me just backtrack a bit for you. It literally says it right there. Type A, US and elsewhere. Don't be a dick about it. I'm just saying that if you didn't, you know. Anyway,
I don't know that much about, like, you know, electronics and stuff, but I'm around Type G, okay, and has a gigantic ground G, that's the name of the plug. That's actually good to know. It has a name. Type G. What the heck is the American one called? Type USA? Or no, probably not. Type G. Okay, and it has a gigantic ground. I don't know that much about, like, you know, electronics and stuff, but I know the ground in a plug has something to do with safety and making sure you don't get electrocuted as often or something.
As you insert it, and by the way, across the pond there, they call this an earth pin. So as you insert the earth pin, you'll notice that the first thing that touches is that earth pin because it's longer. So the neutral and the live haven't made contact yet, but there's actually what's called a shutter system inside here that it's opening up by pushing that one in first. So just now, as I got it that far...
What? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what is this? Even the outlets are more advanced. What? Shutter system? You can do that? That makes so much sense. Wait, so if you're like a little child, you can't like...
Stop sticking a knife in there and giving yourself a quick run of electric bolts.
Stick your like fork into the open holes. I'm looking around
Exactamando.
at outlets. Our outlets are just like open all the time. It doesn't have to be like that? What? Wait,
Yep.
what? This seems strictly better, right?
That it's opening up by pushing that one in first. So just now, as I got it that far, it opened up the shutters, and then I can proceed to plug it all the way in.
Wow.
Until I do that, these are actually closed off.
Wow.
Obviously, never stick anything into an outlet. Now, this may be telling...
That makes so much sense. What the heck? That alone is already like, why don't we do that? That makes so much sense to me. That's amazing.
About me, I don't know, but literally one of the earliest memories I have in life is when I was super little, maybe 3 or 4, and I stuck something into an outlet, got completely shocked, and I remember looking at the outlet after this had happened and seeing these black scorch marks all over it. Like kids in the UK.
Hey,
Not that I did that ever. Definitely. Never did that. Definitely.
Most likely haven't had that experience. Feature number 9 is that when we insert the earth pin and clear those shutters, the only thing that's exposed on the live and the neutral is actually this black section here. If you're wondering what that is, that's actually a bit of insulation, and it's 9 millimeters up these pins here. So that's because once you have some contact with the live and the neutral to your receptacle, it makes it so that you can't touch anything that's live at that point. Check it out. So if I get this part of the way in there, and it's actually touching, now the only thing that's exposed is just the insulated area, which is not conductive.
What? There's 8 more of these? These are 10 reasons why British plugs are better. We've only gone through 2, and it's already got me wondering, what are we doing over here? What are we doing with ourselves over here? What are these plugs that we have? There's so much more technology and like thoughtfulness put into these British plugs. I never realized there were so many differences and so many, I don't know, advantages to the British plug. This is really like kind of blowing my mind.
So I might be able to touch that and actually be safe, and that's the idea anyway. Obviously, you should never try that, but they make it really difficult to get yourself shocked because everything is covered and protected as part of this overall safety system. Feature number 8 has everything to do with how the cord comes out of the plug itself. As I plug this into the wall outlet here,
it goes down. It goes down. The cord goes down. Our stupid American cords, I'm already convinced at this point. I'll be honest. Our stupid American cords
they stick out,
go
don't they?
out of the wall, like straight out of the wall. The British cord goes down. I mean, is that how it always is?
Yep.
If that's how it always is, then this is the final straw. Like, that is so annoying here in America, how so many like cords and stuff come straight out of the wall, and you can't like put furniture against them or put things against them. They're poking you in the furniture. It's a nightmare. Oh my god.
You'll notice that it's always coming down on the bottom like this. And that makes it so that you can't really pull this thing out. If you pull this way with it, it's just going to stay in place. And even if you pull out this way, you can pull this pretty good. And it's really not going anywhere. It's really smart.
Yeah, like let me grab my plug here that I threw on the floor. Yeah, like this plug. Like when you plug it in the wall, it goes straight in the wall, straight into my eye. Straight into the wall. And it's like, it's annoying. It sticks out of the wall. It's kind of noticeable. I'm gonna chuck that thing away. Now, I don't need that thing. Actually, I do. Or, since I'm in the United States, I need it to charge my phone. So I guess I have to keep it. But wow, this is big.
Our feature. Now, this has come loose a little bit, but a lot less than it would if the cord were coming out of the face of the plug.
Yeah.
Speaking of plugs being ripped out of the wall, that brings us to feature number 7. If we open this up and take a look inside here, you'll actually see that there's some pretty cool safety features built right inside.
Ooh.
The first thing you might notice is there is built-in strain relief right here, and the cool thing is you can actually remove these little fins in many cases to replace this cord if you need to or work on it.
What is this?
The next thing is
strain relief. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Somehow that helps with the cord, like, not being under stress or something.
I don't know either, to be honest, mate.
the short cable in here, this brown one, that's your live cable. And this live wire right here is the shortest one and the straightest one.
Yeah.
So that as you pull this cord out, if it gets ripped out specifically, that one is going to be the first one to disconnect, cutting the electricity to the rest of this.
Oh.
This is all so freaking smart. So freaking
Oh,
well
yeah,
thought
of
out.
course. So if that pulls out, then it pulls out the fuse thing there, and obviously that then, you know, doesn't give enough power to work. Ah, right, yeah, that makes sense.
What the? That's why these British plugs are so gigantic. I was just making fun of them. I was like, aha, so gigantic. It's for good reason.
They're gigantic with purpose, my friend.
And literally everything about the design is on purpose. They're not just big for fun. Oh my god, there's so much more safety thought. So much safety that's been thought of and implemented into the British plug as well. Like, a lot of safety.
The second one is this blue or the neutral one here that's underneath, and that will get pulled out next. And at that point, you have no electricity connected, just your
Right.
ground. I think it's pretty brilliant that there's extra slack built into the ground. There's
What
very
was that?
little-
Sorry, what was that? I simply couldn't pull the wire out, so I resorted to cutting kinks out of the neutral line.
I think it's pretty brilliant that there's extra slack built into the ground. There's very little, but a little bit of slack built into the neutral, and no slack built into the live, so that if this gets ripped out, it pulls the electricity first, again, keeping the user safe.
So smart. So freaking smart. This is actually really cool to see the inside of the plug, and I don't really learn about stuff like this very often. This is amazing. I am totally convinced. We could stop the video right here, but let's keep going. Apparently there's like 6 more things or something that are still better about the British plug, really?
While we're looking at the open plug, that brings us to feature 6, which is the fact that these Type G plugs can actually be opened up just about any time you need to by removing 1 or more screws.
Ah, okay.
Now, Type G, just so you know, is not just used in the UK. They're actually all over the place and pretty much anywhere the UK has had some major influence. So, for example, they're used in Ireland, the United Arab Emirates, Singapore, Hong Kong, Beijing, Indonesia, parts of India, and even several...
Cool. I mean, by the sound of it, they should be everywhere. This is the superior plug. I am a Type G maximalist. Now.
Other countries. So those are very different from the Type A and Type B that we use here in North America. The Type A is the 2-prong here, and the Type B is the 3-prong, which includes the ground pin. And these guys don't have any way to service anything in here.
Yeah, so we have Type A and Type B. Okay, I think I've heard that before. Our plugs don't open up or anything. There's nowhere to get into the plug, you know? No screw or anything. And again, why? I mean, most of us Americans, like, we're not do-it-ourself electronics handymen and women, fixer-uppers. No, not gonna happen. But if you happen to know what you're doing, it's cool that a British plug has a way to unscrew it and get into it if you know what you're doing and want to do it yourself.
All of this is completely sealed off, it's completely solid, and there's no way to do anything to fix this if this starts to become broken or frayed.
Yeah.
Your options are to toss it, which is what most people do, and get a new one, or you can cut it off and use a replacement plug. I've got a video showing how to do that.
Disrespect.
It's nice that with the Type G plugs here, it's just a built-in feature to be able to fix these or adjust these if need be.
Wow.
You most likely noticed the fuse inside the plug itself here.
Oh, yeah.
You see this from time to time in North American plugs, but is definitely not a standard. Having a
Oh.
fuse in every plug is actually essential to the system they use, which is called a ring circuit. In the UK, the ring circuit actually acts like two separate radial circuits going at the same time, one in
Okay.
each direction. As a result, having a fuse on every appliance means that if there's a short or an overload in an appliance, the fuse in the plug can blow rather than tripping the whole circuit and everything else on it.
Oh. I think I understand. Barely. This seems much better as well. If a fuse blows in an American home, like the power in the entire home could go out. But in Britain, each individual appliance with its own plug has its own fuse that can blow, and that appliance will just turn off. That plug will die, and not everything else in the house. If that's true, that's huge as well. I thought there was going to be like a few little differences, between British plugs and American plugs. Like, oh, maybe the British one has more power or something because it's big. No, the British plug has like endless benefits that are much better than the American plug. I am honestly like at a loss here.
These fuses are typically pretty easy to replace, and they cost next to nothing as well. For a plug like this,
Okay.
you do have to take it apart to access that plug, but it's usually just one screw like we saw. But a lot of
Right.
plugs actually come with a little access panel that you can
Oh.
get without removing any screws to make it even easier.
So in Britain, you've like replaced the fuses in your plug? Is that normal? I've never heard of that ever.
I've not personally done it myself, but I have. I think I've like when I was at like especially at secondary school, that was like a course I was on, which was basically construction, where I was taught like different trades like plumbing and electronics and stuff, and removing removing fuses was one of the things I did. So I never actually had to do it for like an actual plug around the house. But I have like practiced taking a fuse out and replacing it before, like in school for training and stuff.
Before. That's funny.
Number 4 on our list is the robustness of these pins, which are so good at carrying a large load.
Ah,
I like how he's. I don't know why, but for some reason, something in me that likes the way he's titled it. The fourth feature. Seriously beefy seriously beefy prongs.
Pins are pretty massive. You may have noticed that.
Yes.
They're actually all 4 millimeters thick on these Type Gs.
Wow.
This is
Oh,
8
one of those
millimeters
measuring
thick,
things.
and then these neutral and lives are about 6.35
Yeah, they're big.
millimeters. When I hold this side by side next to our Type B, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
The result of this is that the Type G has at least 50% more metal than a Type B.
Wow.
And it actually has 3.5 times more metal than the Type A that doesn't have the ground.
okay.
Feature number
Does that mean it can like carry more of a charge or more electricity, or the prongs are bigger, but what does that actually like mean for it?
3 is the fact that
It's probably both it might be a higher charge, but my first thought was when it went to just doesn't break as easy, maybe. I don't know. I'd a guess.
every Type G plug has a ground or an earth pin. This is really important for a handful of reasons.
Right.
As far as safety is concerned, always having a ground means that you're not going to experience the arcing, or at least you shouldn't in most circumstances experience any arcing. Arcing is bad news because that basically means that electricity has gone off the rails and it's going to find the path of least resistance, and a lot of times that's through you. That could shock you, or with enough voltage, that could stop your heart and kill you.
Oh my god, yeah. It seems like a lot of American plugs don't have a ground. I don't know. I never really questioned it or thought much of it because it's so common in America just to have plugs that don't have a ground at all. It's very common. And apparently that's a pretty big safety concern. Why do we just not care about that here in America? Why do we just not care about the safety of these plugs in America? I feel like the only thing Britain cares about is safety, with their plug and has like 10 things all around safety and efficiency. And we're just like, sometimes we'll put the ground on it, whatever. Stop your heart, who cares, you know.
So very dangerous if you don't have that ground in place at all times. You will notice on some plugs in the UK, for example, that these are just plastic. Typically, if you see a plastic pin on here, that means the appliance is double grounded. You can tell by a marking or an icon on the appliance that is a square within a square. It also serves the purpose of not only opening the shutters, but also always keeps things aligned. You cannot mix up the live and the neutral if your ground is always at that top place. Number 2 is the fact that every outlet or receptacle has its own switch.
Yes!
So check this out. I've got this little switch right here.
Yes! I know about this. I've learned about this at some point. This is a huge difference. I forgot about this. On British outlets, there's a little switch to like control the power to that specific outlet. Which
like I won't be able to show it to you because it's covered by this thing, but just down here, like obviously you can't see where my hand is, but no, just down here. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna have some fun. 1 second. Hello. So, obviously you can't see it, but if I can even get my hand down there. Can you even see down there? Oh my god, is it that dark? Jesus, hold on. I'm determined to show you guys this. I'm determined. Looks a bit better. Right. Okay, so if I can switch up, so if it's about, I need to set the thing actually. Oh, I can. Huh. There we go. I haven't seen that thing in a while. I'll see that right there. You can see it just about. You can't really. There you go. There she is. Right there. So obviously, both plugs actually work for my entire computer system. Like everything I have that's plugged in right now is plugged in via that outlet right there. And obviously, right there, both of them, those two switches control both of them. And I mean, to be honest, it might as well be the fact that it's one switch for the whole thing because I use them both at the same time. But both of them, switch them on, everything up here, all this shit will come on, computer and everything and whatnot. And you switch them off, and then everything goes off. Yeah. After that, for those of you who do not know what, an example for those of you who've not seen an English thing in progress before. Oh god, now I got this shit out again. Bollocks.
A few moments later.
Alright, anyway, back to it.
which I think is just a additional sort of safety feature if you want to turn stuff on and off, but not do it with the appliance. You can just do it on the wall. We don't have that here in America at all. I had never heard of that until I learned about that it was a British outlet thing.
That I can use to control this lamp.
Huh.
Of course, you can control the lamp on the device itself.
Yeah.
But this comes in handy for multiple purposes.
Okay.
Number one, it gives you an extra place to turn something on or off. And along with that, it cuts the power completely to the device. There's a lot of devices and appliances out there that are using a trickle amount of energy at all times, even when it...
Oh, I was wondering, like, what is the point of this, really? Everything has a switch on it. Every appliance can be turned on and off, usually. So this is if you want to cut off power completely to something, which, like he's saying, can like save electricity a bit. That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
It's powered off. So by switching it off at the receptacle here, you're taking care of that issue.
Wow.
Number one on our list, and honestly these were pretty tricky to put in any particular order, so take that for what it's worth, but is the fact that all of these outlets and plugs run off of 230 volts.
Okay.
Here in the US, we use a 110 or 120 volt system. There's different names for it, but it's the same idea. And
Is this what I was kind of wondering about? Are the British appliances just like running on double electricity, super electricity, or something?
And I think, because I think when I watched, kind of how when I was on that, cause I think it was on the one of the previous reactions I've done to this guy, to Tyler. Where I was talking about how I heard that Americans don't have kettles like we do here in the UK because their houses don't have the power capabilities to run them, and I think this is why, because the Type A plugs can't carry enough voltage to power a kettle. It doesn't carry enough power that requires it to run a kettle, but the Type G does. That's what I was saying.
How does this work?
In the UK, for example, and in most of the world actually, it's a 230, which is anywhere from 220 to 240 volts typically.
Okay.
Running on 230 volts has a lot of impact on how you can use the outlets and receptacles around your house.
Okay.
So for example, if you want to plug a lamp into this, no problem obviously, but you can even plug a much larger appliance over here. Let's say a washing machine, for example, something a little more power hungry.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. The plugs can I was like, what? Do the light bulbs like shine brighter in Britain or something? Maybe. And you can also
Possibly.
You don't need any special type of plug or electrical hookup for big stuff like a fridge or a washing machine. All British plugs can handle like a variety of power intensive items. That's very cool. Another strictly advantage again.
Space heaters have been a big issue for tripping circuit breakers here in the US.
Yeah.
On 230 volt, they can handle that a lot better. You can even plug in things like a hairdryer and an iron at the same time in many cases, especially if the gauging of the wire in the walls is appropriate for that kind of use.
Wow. Okay. And there you have it. There is that was good. That was enjoyable, but it also I have to admit, was like kind of making me wonder, what the heck are we doing over here in the United States with our plugs and our outlets? How did this happen? Where along the line did we branch out in our own weird American way and start doing it so much worse? The British plug is clearly superior. The British outlet is superior. I had no idea about this. I don't know how to feel about this because I know, like living here in the United States, that's not going to change anytime soon. So I have to just live with this knowledge. But it was actually really interesting and fun to learn about this, and I'm jealous. I didn't know this is how the direction this video was going to go. But yes, indeed, the British plug is definitely superior in many, many ways. I can't believe I'm saying that, but there you go. But I enjoyed this. This was by Learn to Do It Yourself, and I got to give this video a like because I enjoyed that. I did, even though the British plug is much, much, much better. But that's okay. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like.
I enjoyed that video. Yeah. Yeah. So. No closing thoughts. I even learned a few things or two myself. But yeah, no closing thoughts on this. Good video to watch. Again, I will link both videos. I will link Tyler's video and the video he was reacting to in the description. But with that, I'm just gonna end that one there. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel, Sergeant Beckett. If you'd like, in the description, like I just said, there'll be links to both videos in down there, as well as my link tree, which you can find loads of other stuff on there, other stuff I do on the internet. At this point, it's insane, including a Discord if you want to have a look at it as well. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and I shall see you all in the next one. Adios.